Hello and welcome to another video from me, Rough Swordsman, Wargamer. It's part 4 of my playthrough of Skies Above Britain, a solitaire air war game designed by Jerry White and Gina Willis and published by GMT Games. Now, for those that have been following my playthrough of this game, yes, it's been a while since the last video. Real life gets in the way sometimes, but we're back on it. The only problem is, of course, because of the amount of time between the videos, there may well be some mistakes and misplays, which I hope you forgive me for. But I dare say, as in the other videos, helpful comments are always welcome. So I suppose the first thing we've got to do is have a bit of a recap and see what's going on. So the first thing we'll have a quick look at is the squadron log. You can see we're currently running at 19 victory points, which is still a failure, but at least we're out of the disaster part. Up in the hospital here, we've got 2 pilots as Groucho Marx and Nordic Maelstrom, and we'll be finding out how they're faring once we have sorted out the pilots for this next mission. And over on the squadron display, we have all our pilots ready for action, except these 4 here, who have flown 2 consecutive patrols and are resting out so they don't get fatigued. And those are Mike Berticelli, Dave's Gaming Cave, Stuka Joe, and Herman Luttman. Okay, let's get Patrol 4 going. First thing we've got to do, though, is pick our random event from one of these. And we get 3. Night duty. What's all that about? So, night duty. One of your pilots is called up for a night patrol. Select a pilot, but not a green pilot, and credit that pilot for flying 1 patrol and check for landing. Roll a die. If you roll a 1, fog shrouds the aerodrome and he fails to return and is not seen again. He returns safely if you roll a 2 or higher. If he returns and is assigned to this upcoming patrol, he is automatically exhausted after that patrol, which means he goes straight into hospital. So not sure if we'll do that. We've got enough pilots to leave the chosen pilot doing the night duty out for this patrol. So let's get that done. So here are our pilots. We can't pick a green one. And we've got these 4, as I said earlier, having a rest. So we'll take these and pop them in a bag. There we go. So let's pick the pilot. See who it is. It's ID Jester. We now have to throw to see if he makes it back to the aerodrome. So not a 1. Oh, 3. Oh, hold on. That's a 3. He makes it back safely, but we won't send him out on this mission, so I'm going to get moaned at, I dare say. But he can go back in there, ready for the next patrol. Right, let's set the patrol up. So for the first chapter, skirmishing over the channel, we're going to put out these squadron formation markers, 242211, and they're in the bag of doom. And as long as you trust me, we're going to speed this up. And the last 2. There we are. Next is the squadron formation marker, but as you know by now, I like to do that later on. So let's pick our pilots. So altogether, we've got 13 pilots available. I'm putting in the veteran pilots as well, so everybody's got an equal chance. There'll just be one poor soul who doesn't get picked. So let's pick them. They're in the bag, and we'll tell you who they are after we pick them. So for yellow section, oh, I know that's a veteran. We'll pop him there, I think. The other one is Tony, of course. Oh, put that there again. Always do that. Oh, Tony's got picked, so we'll pop him there. And that leaves one out. So apologies for that. But who have we got for yellow section? We've got Richard Kerr, our veteran, with Gareth Evans and Historic Wings, who is green pilot. So we'll pop our green counter under that just to remind us. For red section, red leader is E4 Airman, and his wingmen are Viper Dave and Phoenix Knight. Blue section, got Nate being blue leader with Alan Blue Tweezers and Hissy Cat. And lastly, green section, Tony as wing leader, being the veteran, ably assisted by Koi 51 and Christophe de Klerk. And Meandering Mike, unfortunately, gets a session down the pub with ID Jester. Now I'll put all those pilots that are flying this patrol on the pilot roster. Forgot there's another green pilot, which is E4 Airman. So we'll make Phoenix Knight the leader, just to make things possibly a bit better for that section. Right. Okay, it's time to see what happens to Nordic Maelstrom and Groucho Marx in the hospital. They're getting on very well with the nurses, I understand. So we're going to roll on this table here. If they throw a 1 to 3, that's bad. They are actually discharged because their injuries are so severe, they're sent home. 4 to 8, they stay in the hospital. And 9 to 12, they return to the squadron. So we'll do Nordic first. 6. Oh dear, he stays in the hospital. He might not be very pleased about that, or will he? He can still chat up the nurses. And 4, Groucho. 2, no! Oh no! Groucho's injuries are so severe, he is returned home, discharged. He will not be doing any more flying for the squadron, I'm afraid. Oh dear, that's our first casualty. That does mean we now have a spare G pilot that we want. So if you're interested in that, let me know in the comments. Sorry, Groucho. Oh dear. Next, it's starting visibility, and we'll have the blue die for the visibility, and if we need it, the red die for the sun's position. 3 is clear and sun again, and the position of the sun is at the nose, so we'll sort that out. Here we are, we've got clear visibility and the sun nose high. Okay, we know there's a raid coming in. We're going to scramble our pilots. We're going to see where they end up. Six. Oh, middle for diddle. And we pop that there. We are now into the sequence of play. And the first part of that is reveal. So we're going to reveal the first lot of raid vector markers. What have we got? Aha! We've got the sun turning and new trade. So as we're getting more information, we're turning towards where we think the raid is, and of course that shifts the sun's position relative to us. So we're going to roll a die and see how it turns. If we roll an even number, we shift it clockwise. If odd, shift it anti or counterclockwise. If no sun, visibility is now clear and the sun's position is that. But no, we've got clear. So let's roll a die and see what happens to the sun. It's even. So it's coming back round clockwise to starboard high. Now this new trade says no raid marker on raid track, apply raid result. So we move down to here. Raid marker not in play, which it isn't. If the raid marker is not yet on the raid track, place it in the vector markers space. So it goes there. If visibility is clear, place escort station markers in escort stations on the interception map. Roll die and apply result from the escort station table in the situation manual. Right. So we're going to roll on this and place those escorts. And as you can hopefully see, we need a high roll to get a good result. Here we go. 10. Oh, trailing. 109s, heavy though. Right, let's put those on the map. So that's the 109 heavy, and it's going right back there, which might be good news for us. Let's pick the last one. Oh, right. The sun is moving again. We're getting more information. And then flak. Seven odd. It shifts counterclockwise. And we've got some flak. And for this flak, the number one says we can draw one of these. And if we had the bombers out, we'd place it on a random bomber. But as you can see, there are no bombers out yet. So we're going to pop it in here. So Hurricane side up. It's a wing hit. So we'll put that there for later. That's all those markers revealed. We now move to the fuel. So all sections use a fuel up. And now, contact. We've got some decisions to make. Do we make contact with the raid or hold back? If we say no, we go into the vector part. The escort won't exit. There isn't any number there, but it will allow us to either increase our altitude or move into the coast zone. We could do both. That will cost a fuel, and then we will go back to the reveal. The problem with that is there are 4 of them in that little pile there, and we've already got the raid marker out. If we get another raid symbol, those bombers will have dropped their bombs right by the coast and turned to home. Well, you also won't get any victory points for splitting up that formation. So I think we'll have to go for contact. We can, because you have to either be in the same zone as the marker or an adjacent zone, which we are. Unfortunately, that means our position coming into the bomber formation isn't going to be great. We'll be using this table here, so you can see. But I think that might be our best option. Again, as always, you may have a different view. But there we go. I've made my choice. We're going for contact. So we'll pop that there and see what we get. 6. That's tail low. We could spend a fuel and come in flank low. I think that might be the best thing to do. So another fuel. Dear oh dear. And we're coming in flank low. Now, as our visibility is clear, we can place the bomber squadron. So we'll have the blue die for the bomber type and the red die for its configuration. Seven and a 3, 7. Oh, Junkers! Going up against something a bit tougher. And 3, a 7-tile bomber configuration. Crikey. Right, let's sort that out. There we are. A formidable formation of Junkers, which are going to be a bit more difficult than the Stukers we've been used to. And as such, we're going to be using the medium bomber deck. Before we continue, nearly forgot, we've got this damage marker, which we need to put on one of these. Now we can choose which one we want, or we can do it randomly. I think we'll do that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We throw an 8 on our 8-sider. We'll re-roll. 3, 1, 2, 3. And let's put it on there. Right, that's that done. Now we're into the interception sequence. We have to place our orders for our squadron. If you remember, there are 3 orders we can place on our squadron. We can go after the escorts, and by the way, we could split this up into its flights or sections and give them separate orders. We've got an order to go after the bombers, or a cruise order where we can try and maneuver into a better position. Now, because we've got this escort trailing behind, it's heavy, but it's trailing. I don't think they're going to be able to intercept us, at least for the first sort of round. So I think what we'll do is have everybody go after the bombers. And that gives us quite a good chance. And looking on here, the intercept bombers player aid, we're at flank. We're low. It's 109s and they are trailing. So we only need to throw a 3 or more to intercept those bombers because the escort won't reach us in time. So 3 or more. Let's see if we can do it. 8, yes. We're off to intercept the bombers. So here's our squadron coming in from the flank, and looking on the sequence of play, there was no intercept, of course. Bombers, we were successful. So now we're into round one, and the first thing we've got to do is approach the formation. Any that don't will return to base, but of course that's not going to happen. So let's get these Spitfires attacking the formation. There we go, that's what I've decided. As always, you may have other ideas. This is just old Ruff playing the game, as you know by now. Not a masterclass in tactics. We've got the whole squadron coming in for the attack. And because we've got those Junkers, we've got to use that medium bomber deck, as I showed you earlier. So we'll give it a bit of a shuffle. And a cut. And we're ready. And we'll start off with yellow leader. That's the veteran Richard Kerr. Now again, we must remember that Richard and Tony have veteran privileges, which might come in handy. Let's see how Richard does. So let's see what he gets. Coming in starboard, it is a complete formation. And it's green. No, Richard isn't a green pilot, so he doesn't get a hit. But we've got this icon here, if you remember. That's a disruption. And if the total amount of fighters and markers on the bomber tiles equals or exceeds 10 in this case, that tile becomes isolated. And of course, we've got 12 plus this one here. We can use damage markers. So it becomes isolated. Unfortunately, no hits. So we'll do that. There we go. And Richard is finished. Coming up next, yellow 3. That's Gareth Evans. He's coming in. See what he gets. Now we're here. Still coming in from starboard, of course. 3 is the distress amount. And if the fighters and markers on that bomber tile equals or exceeds the distress number, that bomber is fallen. Well, there are, because he is still engaged technically. So there are 3 on this tile. This bomber will fall out of formation. And we'll move it here. So we'll put Richard there. But unfortunately, that R means that bomber returns fire, which ain't good. So we'll use our damage chits. And because it's bombers, we will look at the back of the counter first to see what happens before we flip it over. So what do we get? Oh, it is a hit. Straight away. Oh, Gareth gets a cockpit 7. Not good. Lastly, yellow 2, which is Thomas from Historic Wings. He's a green pilot. And we're on here now. Oh, no, we're here. Oh, excellent. Coming in from starboard on a single plane. We get a hit and low ammo for Thomas. Here's his low ammo. And he gets a hit. Wing hit. Oh, and I forgot to show you at the beginning, but we're fighting the Junkers. So it's still 1 cockpit hit to down it, but 2 engine or 4 of any other type. So not quite as easy as the old Stukas. So that's Thomas done. Next we'll do red. Even though they're still in sections, now they're attacking, they are treated as independent fighters. Red leader, Phoenix Knight, is attacking that damaged Junkers. Let's see how he fares. Coming in again, back on here. We are starboard. Oh, lots going on. So, a disruption of 5. Yes, we've got 3, 6, 9, 10. So that becomes isolated. Let's do that. There we go. And of course, we get 2 victory points for isolating those Keta because they haven't dropped the bombs yet. He gets a hit. That'll be the second hit. It's another wing. But he gets return fire. That's not good. Oh, that's jammed guns, I think. We don't turn over the other side. No, it's a mechanical failure. Roll a die, even. The RAF fighter exits the bomber formation area and is lost contact. If odd, it returns to base. Good grief. Nine odd. Returns to base. I assume that happens immediately. Everything else is done on that card, yes. So poor old Phoenix Knight returns to base. There he is, on his way home. Oh dear. That isn't good news. Next, we've got Red 3, Viper Dave. It's an isolated tile, starboard. Now, does it fall out? No, it needs 6. There's only 4 there. Does get a hit. Another wing. Just need 1 more. Red 2, E4 Airman, another green pilot. So we're here, starboard. 6 to make it fall out, no. Gets a low ammo. Oops, let's get rid of that. Low ammo and return fire again. Low ammo. Oh, it is a hit. 6 on the wing. So no luck so far. These guys next. We've got blue leader. That's Nathan. It's on here. Starboard. Oh no. Oh dear. So his guns are jammed. "13 to make this Keta fall out of formation. No, there's only 3. And a collision roll. He throws a 1. He is collided with that bomber and is gone. Oh, lucky. 10. He's fine, but does no damage. Next up, we've got blue 2. Hissy Cat. Get rid of all these. It's still on here and oh no. Not great coming in from starboard. So 9 to isolate it, no, and his guns get jammed as well. I had to check which counter it comes on. It's the lost contact jammed. And that's it, no other nonsense. And lastly, for this trio blue 3, which is Alan, blue tweezers. Oh, he gets a hit. 8, no, that won't do anything. He's low ammo. But gets a hit. Engine. We need 2 of those. And he's done. Lastly, the guys of green section. We've got green leader. That's Tony. Tony's board life. It's still joined up. So we're here. 6 to isolate it. No, there's only 3. Gets a hit and low ammo. Oh, engine. But we need 2. Green 3. Koi 51. Again, still joined. 7. 1, 2, 3, 4. No, just gets a low ammo. And lastly, green 2. Christophe de Klerk. Oh, gets a dorsal hit. Low ammo, 11, no chance. And a dorsal hit, which counts as a hit as well. If we come in from behind, that plane can't fire back at us, I think. There we are. That's everybody. We've done the burst, which is what that part was. Now we disengage. There we are. No bombers downed. Got lots of low ammo. We've got 2 with jammed guns. And that means if they get a damage result, they have to roll a die. Even we can apply that damage result, or odd, he manages to unjam his guns but doesn't score a hit. Now, unfortunately, we've got the horrible bit, the hit check. I had to stop videoing and thought I'd do a bit of editing, and as you may have noticed in the video, I put a couple of things that I've missed. First of which is the fuel. We should have used a fuel when we were doing contact because we were in an adjacent zone, and also when we were trying to intercept the bombers because we were low. So we've got to use 2 extra fuel, which makes our situation a little bit worse, and also means that Phoenix Knight returned to base on that space. And over at the bomber formation, few things I got wrong. The engine hit, and that little arrow should give me a clue, but luckily I caught it as I was reviewing what I'd videoed, means they fall out of formation. So those 2 engine hits means those 2 are now out of formation. Doesn't affect this one, but the attack on that might be different because I was using the wrong part of the bomber card. And so what I'll do is, just to try and make things as accurate as possible, we will redo these two attacks using the correct part of the bomber card. So green 3, Koi 51 would have come in, and here's the card he chose, but he would have picked this part of the bomber card, so that would have got a dorsal hit. But nothing else. And green 2. And that's Christophe de Klerk. Here's his card. Would have been a hit for a green pilot. He's not a green pilot, so that didn't happen. But of course it happened with the other card. So I don't think much has changed. So we're back where we were at the disengage. So apologies for that, but I want to try and do it as accurately as possible for myself and also anybody else that's watching this. So now hopefully everything's put right. We can go back to that dreaded hit check. Pop that in there. So we've got a hit check for this one. Yellow 3. Oh, one more thing I forgot. It's just that I missed out the low ammo on red 3. Viper Dave. I think that's everything before we do the hit check. The only real difference is they missed out on a couple of low ammos, which I'm not going to complain about. So, unfortunately, E4 Airman now has to do a hit check on the cockpit. 7 or more. Otherwise, he's off again to the fate box. 7! Whoa! Does it? And lastly, we have red 2. Oh, got the names wrong again. That was actually Gareth Evans, who escaped the cockpit damage. This is E4 Airman, red 2, and he needs a 6 or more to escape his wing damage. 7. He's okay. That's that nasty bit done. We're now here resuming. We're doing the bomber cycle again because we get a second chance to do it. So we're back on the approach. So we're going to engage everyone again. We've only got low ammos. We've got a couple of jammed pilots, but I think everybody's going in. Let's see if we can sort out these aircraft to get some more victory points. We've also got to try and maybe isolate these as well. So let me have a think and we'll get right back. There we go. That's what I've decided. I can hear you screaming at the monitor already, but I'm thinking that these, we need 4 any hits, 2 engine and a cockpit. So I'm going after the damaged ones, leaving that one for now. I'm going to try and split up, if we're lucky with the draw of the card, to try and split up that formation. All being well, we might be able to have another pop at this formation before we get the escort catching up with us. But that's what I'm doing. So we'll start with these here. So of course they're all a bit mixed up now probably. We only need one more hit on this. We've got red 2, which is E4 Airman. And he gets on the isolated. Oh, he gets the hit, gets a low ammo, and that's not going to worry about making that fall out of formation. So low ammo for E4 Airman as well. That bomber is downed. There we are, and that goes on our pilot roster for E4 Airman. Getting a bomber. That's his second. Not doing too bad for a green pilot. Unfortunately, though, Red 3. Viper Dave has to have an attack as well. So let's hope it's a nice one. We're on here. Nope, just does another hit, but gets a low ammo. That means he's now out of ammo. And that plane has gone. I don't know what that was doing there. Yep, I know what that was. He already had a low ammo, so he's out of ammo. Next, we'll have these down here. We've got Blue 3, which is Blue Tweezers. We are here, coming in starboard. Gets a hit. 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and with the hit 6. No, not enough. Gets a dorsal hit though on that bomber, but takes a return fire. Pop that back. Oh, it is a hit. 4 on the fuselage. So, whizzes past. Next up with jammed guns, we've got Blue Leader. That's Nate with his jammed guns. Let's see what he gets. We're on this here. Doesn't get a hit. Gets a low ammo. Can you have a low ammo with jammed guns? I'm not sure. Let me check that. Yep, the rules come to the rescue. Already jammed. Apply a low ammo result even if the RAF fighter has jammed guns. The pilot is clearing ammunition in a desperate effort to get his guns to work. So Nate gets a low ammo as well. That didn't happen, but gets a return fire. Oh dear. No, he's not a green pilot, so he doesn't get a hit. That's good. Let's do these next. We've got green 2. That's Christoph. The single gets a hit and low ammo. The wing. So that's 2 out the 4. Pop him up there, he's still attached. I don't think it applies much to a single bomber. Yellow Leader. That's Richard Kerr, veteran pilot. Single. Oh, same for him. A hit and low ammo. Engine. It's already fallen. Oh, 2 engines. I think that's his lot. Yep, he's gone. But poor old yellow 3 has got to still attack. So we'll pop on a low ammo and move him up there. And Richard Kerr gets his first bomber kill. So we need a nice bomber card for yellow 3, who is Gareth Evans. Jammed for his trouble. Not doing fantastically well with this attack. But there we go. We'll do these down the bottom here. We've got jammed gun on blue 2, which is Hissy Cat. That's still... Oh, hold on. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, he gets a hit. Let's do that hit first. He's not green. Fuselage. But that's enough, I think, to knock it out of formation. These are still attached. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep, I was just checking you can add these fallen markers. So that is now isolated. Let me just sort that out. Oh, what am I doing? He's jammed. We've got to check to see if this actually works. Crikey. We've got to roll an even number. 6. Oh, thank goodness for that. No re-videoing. So once again, apologies for all these little mishaps. As I said at the beginning of the video, it's been a while, so I hope you forgive me. Right, so that's okay. It gets low ammo though. Still jammed. That'd be there, won't it? Yep. Last is yellow 2. That's Thomas from Historic Wings. It's isolated. 1, 2, 3. Even with the hit, it's only 4, so it won't fall out. But he gets another hit. A dorsal hit. 2 for that one. And he's finished. Lastly, these 2 here. Either a couple of normal hits or another engine. So who's coming in with this low ammo? It is green leader. That's Tony. It's a single. Gets the hit. But he's now out of ammo. Doesn't down the bomber though. I'm not sure if you can only have one dorsal hit and it's classed as a fuselage, but I'll stick that on. It's not going to be the end of the world. He's now out of ammo. But if it is, let me know. And lastly, green 3, Koi 51. Come on, we've got to down this blooming bomber. Gets it. Low ammo. Yes, caught it in time. Of course, I used the wrong part of the card. Should have been this one. So, doesn't cause damage to the bomber, but gets a jammed counter, and it's a collision check. So we'll pop that there. So if he throws a 1, he's collided with that bomber. Oh, 11. He's fine. And that, I think, is the end of the burst phase of the bomber cycle. We're now going to disengage. There we go. Next, the hit check. And the only one who's got a hit is Blue 3. That's Alan, Blue Tweezers. He's got a fuselage 4. So we need to throw 4 or more. Otherwise, he's in the fuselage fate box. No! Oh dear. Sorry, Tweez. You're off to the fate box. There he is. And we'll find out what happens to him at the end of the video. Right, back to the sequence of play. We've done the hit check, resume. So we're going to resume the interception sequence. And up here, it's the escort reaction. So we've got those cards. We'll give them a quick shuffle. There we go. Let's see what we get. Now these have to be done, whoops, these have to be done in a certain order. First is the cloud escape, which is this number here, but that only applies if visibility is clouds, which it's not, so we can ignore that. Next, it's help arrives. These little black rectangles. Remember, the bomber's escort is stuck right back in trailing. There isn't one of those little boxes, so we can ignore that. Reduce the escort. No, we've got a little R here, but that's not where the enemy escort is. Shift the escort. No, you can see an example of that here, where the lead escort goes to ahead, but no, nothing on there. And then ambush. That will be across the bottom here. There is no ambush, so crikey, nothing happens. Next would be chase, but nope. There's nothing in the sort of lost contact area. So we're here, patrol complete, no. Fuel. So everything moves along. Next would be escort recovery, but the 109s weren't suppressed. Escort exit. No, they're not going to exit because there is no number on this segment here. We can see here there is a number. So when that moves along, we're still on the we're still intercepting the bombers, we can use that number. But no, there is no channel patrol. We have no units or fighters to reform. So back to the raid vector. Move the raid marker and reveal the raid vector markers. Here we go. And the first one is a straggler. I don't think we can go after it because the fighters are involved over here with the bombers. New trade. So new trade, if the raid marker is on the raid track, which it is of course, we can isolate the rearmost bomber tile. So the only one that's around is this. So I think we can isolate that. Now, I'm not sure if we get a victory point for that. I won't put it down, but let me know if they do get their victory point. I'm saying no because they didn't actually attack the formation and cause that tile to become isolated. And the next thing is 2 flak. So let's draw some of these. The Hurricane side, we've got a wing damage. Another wing damage. Place 1 damage marker per tile, starting with the tile with the fewest fallen, destroyed, and damaged markers. I actually think this one came from here, so we can pop that on there to tidy that up. So it would be that one. We'll pop a wing on there. And they've all got fallen and destroyed and what have you, so we'll use our D8 to determine which one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's 1, so it's going on there, and we'll pop that on there as well. Right. The problem is something called friendly fire. If any RAF fighters is in the bomber formation area, place an equal number of hit markers randomly on RAF fighters there, but no more than 1 marker per fighter. Perform hit checks. Oh no! So what do we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's handy. So 2 hit markers on 2 aircraft. So the first Spitfire is number 11. That's over here. That's Green Leader. That's Tony. Oh, good grief, that's a 9 engine. And the second one, number 6. This one, that's, oh, another green. That's Green 2. Christophe de Klerk. Cockpit 7, no. We now have to check those hits, doing a hit check. So for Christophe, 7 or more. 4, no, he's off to the cockpit fate box. And Tony needs a 9. Otherwise, he's off to the engine fate box. Oh, he only does it. Well done, Tony. Looks like he's flying home or returning to base anyway because he's out of ammo. That's that done. Couple of more raid vector markers to look at, so fingers crossed. Next up, another straggler, no. And lastly, straggler. Get rid of those actually. They still haven't dropped their bombs. So we can swirl again. So we're back up to here. They've been given their orders. No escort to intercept. Back to the bomber cycle. So we've got to see who's approaching those bombers for another burst. So, looking at our remaining pilots, we've got 3 with no ammo. So we're going to send them over to the RTB track, the return to base track. So let's do that. So I think that's all of red section. Yeah, so we can actually, I think, just remove the red cube. We don't need that anymore. They're all returning to base. And there's poor old Christoph up there in the cockpit fate box. So for those that are remaining, we now do the approach phase and move up and see which bombers we're attacking. Well, that's what I've decided. Again, you may disagree. I'm going to try and down as many of these Junkers as we can. We do have 3 Spitfires that have jammed, so they may not score any hits. But I've put 2 here. We need 1 more for this Junkers. But as I said, he's jammed. So he may get a hit, but it won't count. Same with here. We've got 3. We need 2 more. But we've got a Spitfire with jammed guns. And we might be lucky, get an engine hit or something like that. But as I say, your mileage may vary. So we're going for the burst, so we might as well try with this single Spitfire with low ammo as well and jammed guns. That's Blue Leader. That's Nate from the War Room. Let's see what he gets. It's a single plane. He gets a hit, but he is now out of ammo. But let's see if that hit occurs because of his jammed guns. It's only a dorsal hit, so it won't down the Junkers. I'm going to pop that there for a second. So an even die roll, we apply the damage. An odd, we cancel the damage and remove the jam marker. All right. It's a 2, it's even, so we can apply the damage. So that gets another hit, but of course does nothing. It's still jammed, no ammo. Put that on top to remind me. Let's do these next. We've got yellow 3. That's Gareth Evans with jammed guns. Let's see what he gets. It's on a tile, a hit, low ammo, and 5 to make that plane fall out. We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But let's see if he does the hit. It's going to fall out of formation anyway, I believe. Let's see what he gets. It's an engine. Oh, will it happen though? Because he's jammed. Odd, no. He doesn't get that engine hit, but it does remove his jammed. So that goes back in the pot. That's no good. But he does get a low ammo. Dear, oh dear, oh dear. Pop him over there. Next up with low ammo and jammed guns is Blue 2. Pussycat. Oh, I forgot that's fallen out of formation. Those 3 Spitfires moving in has given them the wobblies. So this one has fallen out. And we'll pop it there. So with his low ammo and jammed guns, you can pop Gareth there now. We are on this And here, he's not a green pilot. He gets a hit and low ammo. So he's now, whoops, wrong one. He is now no ammo. Let's see what the hit is. Fuselage, but he's jammed. Let's see again. We don't want an odd. Yes, we get an odd. Whoops. So his jammed is removed, but he's got no ammo. That goes back in the pot. Unless we get a cockpit, that's not going to go down. So lastly, for this lot, we've got yellow 2. That's Thomas. Historic wings, the green pilot. Single. Oh, hit and no ammo. Oh, get rid of that one. So a hit. He's now no ammo. It's a wing hit. No good. And off he flies. Last chance to down something. We've got, with jammed guns yet again, green 3. That's Koi 51. Single, gets the hit. Low ammo, but let's see what would happen. It's an engine hit. Oh, it's 2 engines, but he's jammed. Put that there a sec. So we need an even to knock that bomber out the sky. No! Oh dear! The dice gods are not with us, but he gets a low ammo. And he's finished. Lastly, with low ammo, we've got yellow leader. That's our veteran pilot, Richard Kerr. Come on, Richard. Yes. But once again, is low ammo, so he has no ammo, but will get the hit that will down the bomber. It's a wing hit, that's good enough. That has been destroyed. I think that was the one there. And Richard gets his second bomber kill. And that is everything. Now we disengage. There we are, they are disengaged. There are no hit checks. And so we resume on the interception sequence. So we're here. Cruise, no. And then we would do another bomber formation. Now, we're going to return these 4 to base because they have no ammo. Shall we be cheeky and send these 2 out to see if we can at least try and down that one? Yeah, let's do that. So these 4 returning to base. So that's them on the return to base track. I've taken off the blue fuel because all the blues are back. Blue section are returning. We've just got a yellow and a green Spitfire left. So we're back to the approach. There we go, they're approaching that severely wounded Junkers there. Taking a bit of a chance because after this we've got the Escort reaction, but they are still trailing. So they might not reach us, but that's famous last words. Anyway, let's see how we fare. We've got green 3. That's Koi 51. Single plane, starboard. Green. No, he's not green. So that's a waste of time. And yellow 3. That's Gareth Evans. Come on, Gareth, don't let us down. Gets the hit and is now out of ammo. It's a wing hit, but that's okay. That's the 4 we need. He is out of ammo. This is here, I think. And downs the bomber. That's them complete. And now, Escort reaction. Here we go, fingers crossed. What we got here. So, first thing is cloud escape. No, we're still in sort of sun. Help arrives. We're here, remember. No little black rectangle there. Reduce escort. No, there's no little R there. And lastly, shift escort. Well, they're moving from trailing to low. But that's it. That won't affect us. So they got away with it. Here we are. That escort is now moved to the low station. So next would be chase, but that doesn't apply. Patrol complete. No, because they've all got to be on the return to base track. So they're not. So we'll do this first. Fuel. So we move that along. Escort recovery. There are no suppressed markers on the escort. Do they leave? We can just see down here that we need to throw an 11. Well, they won't leave. If we're successful, they will be reduced to a light escort, but let's see. Oh, nearly 10. No. Don't think there's any channel patrol. That only happens out here, I think. No, there's nothing there. It's these numbers here, I think. Not reforming. This is the bit that's worrying me. We've got to reveal the next lot of raid vector markers. Here we go. They are disengaged. I forgot to state that, but we're moving this along here. We've got a couple of new markers. Oh, they've finally dropped their bombs. So I believe all these disappear. What was that one, just out of interest? Oh, more flak, but never mind. These all get removed. That moves up to there. No, there, sorry. There we go. Swirl again. So we're coming back up here, down to the bomber. We're not going to approach because, as you can see, we've only got one that's got any ammo left. So we're returning everything to base. So we won't be going through the bomber cycle. So, no, No, there's nothing for that escort to react to because we're on our way home. No chase. So patrol complete. Yes. Land, bailout, and the dreaded fate. What it says to do in the rules is do the fate boxes first, but we'll leave that till the end. We've got Christoph and Alan Blue Tweezers in the fate boxes. So we'll return all of these back home. There we are, everybody's home that can come home. We can now put these fatigued pilots back in the regular pilot pool for the next patrol. There we are, and now we're going to check to see out of our pilots that have made it safely back home, who's going to be having a rest. We've got a few here. Here's our current patrol number 4. We can see Christoph de Klerk. Who else we got? Nate and Koyi. Mind you, he's in the fate box. Phoenix Knight, Viper Dave. Yep, they're all going to have a rest. So let's do that. So it looks like we've got enough for the next patrol. However, remember, poor old Groucho was sent home from hospital, unfit for further service. So we do have a space going for the letter G. If you fancy it, let me know in the comments. But now, can't put it off anymore. It's that time to find out what happens to Christoph de Klerk and Alan Blue Tweezers in their fate boxes. So we'll do Alan first. Tweeze. He's not green, thank goodness. So let's see, we're in the Spitfire, so we're doing this column here. Let's see how he gets on. 11. Looks like he's going to be okay. Yes, he's okay. He can go back to the squadron. And now, Christoph in the cockpit fate box. Not a nice one, this fate box. He's not green though. So once again, using this column here. 3, no! Oh, he crashes. Let's see what happens to him along this row here. No, he's in hospital as well. So he's joining Nordic Maelstrom. He won't be pleased because he'll be competing for them nurses, but it could have been worse. We will check for these two at the start of the next patrol after we've sorted all the pilots out. But there we go. Could have been a lot worse. So that's the end of the patrol. It's now just a question of the victory points. However, for some reason, and you may have noticed that these two tiles got separated. I think it was only these 3, and these got separated because of the new trade. Don't think it affected the combat much because this was already isolated as a single plane. But as I say, a few misplays during this patrol because of the length of time since the last one. So, looking at the pilot roster, we can see poor Groucho Marx has been discharged, and Gareth, E4 Airman, and Richard have got their bomber kills, 4 in total. No escorts, I'm afraid, because we didn't go after the escorts. So for the squadron log, we can see that there were no escorts downed, 4 bombers and 3 Keta isolated. 1, 2, 3. Not going to count those, and I don't know what happened there. So that gives us 7 victory points. 26. We are still in the failure. We need to get up to 31 to get a success. So hopefully in the next couple of patrols we can do that. So this has been part 4 of my playthrough of Skies Above Britain, designed by Jerry White and Gina Willis, and published, of course, by GMT Games. Well, I hope you enjoyed that, even though there were quite a few little misplays. Hopefully I've caught most of them. And by the way, if you want to be the replacement for Pilot G, after poor old Groucho was sent home, then let me know in the comments. But if you did enjoy it, and you haven't done so already, it does help if you would at least consider subscribing to the channel. Pushing that like button under the video as well helps tremendously. And if you want to be informed of other content the channel uploads, then push the bell. Make sure you push all notifications, otherwise YouTube may forget to tell you. As always, I encourage you to leave a comment. I suspect there may be some putting me right on a few things for this playthrough, but I encourage you to do so. It helps me, helps other people wishing to see what this game is all about. Or just an encouraging comment. They're always nice to get as well. But whatever you put, you know I love to read them. Thanks as always to my subscribers. Thank you so much. And as always, quickly before I go, if you wish to support the channel a little bit further, you can. You can buy the channel a coffee, and there's a link in the description for that. Or you can push the super thanks button, hidden away, I believe, where those 3 little dots are on the bottom right of the video. If you decide to do that, that's wonderful, and the channel thanks you. Right then, let's see how I fare for Patrol 5 when we get to video it. But until then, as always, you take care and goodbye.